200 million lives wiped out this year, next year, every year. These animals are blinded, paralysed, drugged, dissected, starved, isolated, cut open, drowned. And of course, we're all animals. We all feel pain and suffering, don't we? We all bleed, we all hurt. But there's only one species that deliberately and calculatedly inflicts this kind of cruelty upon other species. And there's only one species on this planet who thinks that their interests are worth these millions and millions of lives and suffering. There are monkeys sitting huddled in barren steel cages, shivering, unable to stand, unable to feed themselves, thousands of miles from their friends, their family and their homes, with a dark, purple, jagged scar running down their skulls. Man's closest relatives. There are dogs collapsed into heaps on the floor, unable to open their eyes, having had forced heart attacks. Man's best friend. And I bet those dogs wagged their tails and licked the hand of the man who led them out of their cage. There are mice, beautiful, tiny, furry little creatures, inherently terrified of water, forced into deep tanks of it, forced to swim for their lives. Eventually, they give up the struggle, desperate, and stop moving, while people stand there watching. What I am describing is animal cruelty. This is not science. Animal cruelty will not give us the cures to cancer. It will not give us the vaccines for AIDS, treatment for Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. It will not prevent heart disease. Anyone who tells you that science requires animal cruelty is wrong. Animal cruelty of this kind is indefensible. And if animal cruelty of this kind is not wrong in this world, then nothing is wrong in this world.
Yeah.
I read an article in the newspaper last week, you may well have seen it yourself, and the headline said, "Man convicted of neglect of dog." Well, thousands of people can be convicted of far worse than neglect every day in this country on countless of animals, in places like this right behind us. And they're funded by our government.
Shame!
Shame!
And the taxpayer.
I read another article the same week, and the title said, "Gene discovered in mouse offers promise to cancer sufferers." I read these articles every week and I expect you do too. And this is the favourite word of the vivisectors, promise. Promise after promise after promise. Year upon year upon year. But all these promises are broken. All these years they've been dissecting and vivisecting all these mice. The number of people suffering from cancer is an all-time high. Cancer remains one of the biggest killers in the Western world. We can inject cancer cells into mice and cure them, but none of this translates to human cancer in human patients in hospital beds. The differences between a mouse and a human are just too great. This bloody science is bloody fraud. George Bernard Shaw says a quote, and he sums up vivisection by saying, "Those who won't hesitate to vivisect won't hesitate to lie about it." And this is exactly what these people do. They engage in these practices in secret. They refuse to be open and transparent. They refuse to have access of information. They refuse to let people know the reality of what actually goes on behind those closed, hidden, locked doors. They are like the mafia. The vivisection industry is like the mafia. They will just hold on to what they're doing, engage in it at all costs, at human cost, at the cost of human medicine and human life, as well as the millions and millions of suffering of other innocent animals.
They're Nazis!
None of those animals have consented to be there. None of them are volunteers, and they all have a right to a life that they should be respected and valued.
Yeah!
The goals of the They don't care about saving our lives, about preventing diseases. They are all only interested in their own self-interest and holding on to that power. And as soon as anybody challenges, questions, or asks for justification, they start intimidating and getting highly defensive. But each time there was a leak, each time there was an undisclosed discovery or investigation, the truth comes out, and we see just how inhumane, just how cruel the practice really is. And we also see just how unscientific it is, and how unjustified it is. Their history is full of examples where these kind of sanctioned forms of animal cruelty have come to an end. For example, bear baiting, dog fighting, cockfighting. All of these have come to an end after many years of campaigning and fighting. And this is where you are playing your part in this campaign. Everybody here today knows in their heads that it is wrong. You feel in your hearts that it is wrong. And every cell in your body has brought you here today because you're standing up for what is right and what is wrong. And in the end, history will come out with what is right. What is right ethically, what is right scientifically, and what is right technically. It has happened before and it will happen again. And you are part of that happening. So on behalf of the 200 million animals this year in laboratories, thank you for coming today. And on behalf of the 200 million animals who will be here next year, the year after that, and yet again the year after that, thank you for coming. But most importantly, thank you for those 200 million animals for standing up for what is right and wrong in this world and fighting until right is what actually comes out.
Shame, shame, shame on Oxford Uni!
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 Shame, 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 shame on you! Shame, shame, shame on you!
Shame, shame, shame on you!
Shame, shame, shame on you!
Shame, shame, shame on you!
Stop, 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 stop.
Close down the animal lab!
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 And it's a hard road. The animal liberation is a long road. It's never going to be easy, for God's sake. The amount of hassle that we got as peaceful campaigners was a disgrace. Politically, they've eased up. They think they've destroyed us. They think they've done the job on us. Because every time you went to a demo, you'd be surrounded by coppers. Imagine them, for those I've been involved in this demo for 30 years. I'm used to police oppression. So imagine it was your first demonstration. You're a teacher or whatever, you just want to join this anti-vivisection thing. You'd be frightened from doing it from the police activity. It's all politics, it's got nothing to do with actual policing and policing criminal activity. It was politics. And the people that pull the strings, the pharmaceutical industry, who are the most powerful people. When I say powerful, I mean powerful in terms of money. So even as the birds are there, there's animals suffering inside there. But we did everything we could. We tried to please however desperate it gets. And I'm speaking to myself here. Keep trying, keep going on, however hard